People have met you through songs. They have met you through worship songs. Through your worship, they have seen you on videos. But we want to know from the source, who is Pastor Benjamin Dube, from yourself?
Well, Pastor Benjamin Dube, to start with, is the last born in the Dube family, born through, or let me say, my mom, Grace Dube, is a pastor right now, and my father passed away in 1976, and he was an evangelist in Assemblies of God, and so we actually grew up in a Christian family, and at the same time in a musical family. So, and yes, I did all my elementary school, and then I went to music school for 2 years, and then became a pastor in 1994, and started the ministry in 1994.
Okay. So talking about your personality, we cannot talk about you when we forget the word worship, because
Yes.
you're a worship leader. And what's your definition of worship?
Worship is obedience. Worship is laying prostrate before God or the object of worship and say, not my will, but your will be done. Even before you sing, you must have that characteristic or attribute in your life of a worshiper, because a worshiper is somebody who actually gives in to another's will. You don't do your will, but you do the will of the other. And so as you sing, you uphold him more than you actually uphold your name or yourself. You bow before him. You actually give homage to him. That is worship, according to me.
And so what's the relationship between music and worship?
Music is just a vehicle of worship, because worship can actually helping the needy. You actually serve another person. Worship, in other words, you're doing it unto the glory of God. You serve other people unto the glory of God. You actually how can I put it? You lay down your life for the other person, and that is worship. Even before you can sing, you can worship God, and that's why the character is so important of worship. The mentality of worship is so important. One needs to get to a point where you actually lay prostrate before God and say, Lord, I want to do your will, not my will. In other words, I want to please you than pleasing myself or than pleasing other people. I want to obey you more than I would obey other people. And then you are a true worshiper, instead of just looking at it on basis of having a platform and then performing. That worship is deeper than that.
33 years in ministry.
Yes.
And we know that ministry faces challenges.
Yes.
We know that to follow the Lord, you really need to sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share with us what are some of the things that you have left aside so that you follow a career in worshiping and leading worship?
Well, to start with, I had to discover who I was, because I had to separate with the mentality of being an entertainer, or mentality of being a star, a mentality of trying to be a star. In other words, travel the whole world and just to build my name. I had to actually separate with that. I had to give that up. I had to even give up friends There has been times even where, I was rejected by even, my wife, by virtue of the fact that I was doing what I was doing. And the difficulties that I went through were nowhere compared to the satisfaction and the contentment that I had in doing what I was doing for the Lord. So there has been a lot that one has gone through. Some of the people, of course, would know that I did go through divorce twice, and just because, first of all, the first one was because I was still young in the ministry and I didn't have a mentor. I was so zealous and I was so I had enthusiasm for the ministry that I didn't know as to how to maneuver and to navigate in ministry, to a point where I actually lost my family, or I lost my wife in the process of trying to achieve my goals, in ministry. But the second one, of course, that too, it was trying to make sure that I keep my family together. But I'm just giving you snippets of what I went through for me to be where I am. So much price to pay for one to still be effective in ministry. Some of it was my doing. Some of it was my ignorance, not knowing as to how ministry was supposed to work. But at the same time, I saw God coming through. I saw everything coming together, and I saw my ministry really taking a turn in the right direction, effective, affecting people, using the very pain and the experiences that I've had in my life to change other people's lives. And because it is so important that the very sword that Goliath wanted to use against David, David used it against Goliath. And I think this is the message I'm giving everybody, that whatever the enemy is using to try and kill you, use it to kill him. In other words, use it as a testimony that the enemy wanted to destroy my family, but today I'm still standing. The very same sword that he was trying to use, I'm using it against him, and let him know that it is not by might, it's not by power, but it is by the Spirit of the Lord. And I'm still standing today is because of the Spirit of the Lord. And it's him that is navigating me, and it's him that is strengthening me. It's him that is giving me the wisdom that I have.